Hey everyone, my name is Saf. You are watching Gray on Tech TV. Today, in this session, we will be discussing on cards as buttons. It's a pattern in Appian. Here you can see we are having a design pattern of somewhere related to card layout, and we will be using it in our screen design. So, how to understand this pattern and how to accommodate it in your actual project help you out. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to drop a subscribe. Feel free to like this video and continue your learning with me because I regularly upload the videos on Appian. So let's drop cards as buttons and understand how do they work. As far as I can believe, I'm just guessing how it works. So inside the card layout, there would be some binded variables. Based upon the click, we are able to select the correct selection and the data will be written into the local variable. Just a standard pattern and we can transform it as per our own choice depending upon what we need. So let's go to the expression area. If we start the code understanding from scratch from the beginning, we can see we are having a list of maps. A list of map is something that you will see mostly in other patterns as well. All the Appian patterns, wherever you see, it will be definitely having a list of maps as local variables, which will be used, which will be an inception for the code to start. We have local bank options as a list of map, which is having icon, name, description. Again, another map, icon, name, description. You can have more of them or you can have less of them, but uh, the standard is that it will be looping based upon the keys. Now what we are doing, if we collapse the code and paste it local variables like this, that we are having a bank local variables, inside that we are having local bank options, and then we are having a local bank selected card for the selection value to be stored, and then we are having the actual code. Inside the actual code, we are having two implementations, two block of implementation. First one is restrict display field and second one is columns layout. Again, there are some certain restrict display fields, so let's understand them one by one. The first one is restrict display field, which you can see on the right hand side, is your home, a house, or condo. So if you see on the top, we are having rich text display field. With this, we are having two char 10. If you see this function, it is nothing but the Unicode character equivalent against a number. So char 10 means a new line. If I remove this, you can see on the right hand side, the lines will be removed and the content will become on the top. If I copy them and add them more, right? So the content below it will have more kind of new lines on the top. It's kind of a way to create more margin wherever you define it. We are having char 10 inside that we are having rich text item is having a text and some color configuration, size configuration, where you can see that is your house, or a home or condo. So we can, as per your own implementation, you can write anything. Select the registration process. So let's suppose this is the home page, which is a default page for any type of user. And then uh, or like instead of registration, select the login as, login as, and we can have multiple, you know, action items to choose from. So login as a registrar, login as a supervisor, login as a manager, login as an admin. So you click on that, and then there will be a different process behind it. For a manager, for a supervisor, we have a different process. So we can choose card as buttons, and yeah, along with these selections, we can initiate processes. Select a select a choice, and yeah, we are having show when show when condition is null, local bank selected card. So as long as your selection is empty, it will be visible. The heading will be visible. Select a choice. Next, we are having a columns layout. Here you can see in the columns layout. Anybody who knows columns layout, we can see that the columns layout is defining how many number of columns. The columns definition is present here. Column number one, and then a bank for each, and then column number two. Now, what is a bank for each? A bank for each is iterating the local bank options. The more options you have is directly proportional to the more number of output that you will see here in the column slot, because it's iterating the list of maps. So whatever is the if the list size is more, so the more output, more number of cards you will see. What we have in a bank for each, we are having items, local bank options, expression, a bank column layout. So we are iterating a single column for every against every item in local bank options. Hope you are able to understand my explanation. For every item in local bank options, which is for every map. Right now we are having two maps, right? So for every map, we are rendering a column layout, a bank column layout. Inside a single column, what we are having, you see here, inside the single column, we are having a card layout. The card outline that you're seeing here, that's the card layout. Inside the card layout, what we are having a register display field, which is having some white space on the top. And then we are having an icon with the large size, which is defined here. Then we are having another white space in between. We are having a heading with a large size, which is defined here. Then we are having some white space in the bottom. Then we are having the description of that uh, item. And this is how a single card is being generated. Next, the loop will increment the index. And for next item, FV Bank item, we are having the item number 2. Earlier, the item number was 1. So that's why you are having FV Bank item dot icon as home, FV Bank item dot name as house, FV Bank item dot description as the description. Now, once the loop is completed with the logic and the implementation, then the loop will repeat for second item, and then for third item, and for fourth item. As many items that there are existing in the list, it will be iterating. What if I remove one item and it is only a single item? Here you can see that now I will be left with only one card because my map is now only a single item. It's not a list, single map. If I double it, I duplicate it basically. Here you can see that they are three now. Why they are three? Because the left column and the right column are fixed, whereas these are dynamic. These are dynamic because they are dependent upon local bank options. Now coming to the bottom part, here we can see we are having register display field. Inside that we are having register icon. So all these are coming from local bank options. I hope you are able to understand. Next, uh, I know you know the looping part. It is quite basic. We are having FE bank item dot icon. So why we are referring the keys? We are referring the keys because it is nothing but a list of map, and a map is a combination of keys and values. So this is a key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. In order to access the value, you need to access the key and point to it. You'll get the value. If I want to get like if I want to get the value of home, I will do fvbank item dot icon so that I can get home and building for every iteration. Just like this, we are done with the output rendering of this rich text display field. Once we are done with this, so no matter whatever the user clicks on this, the user will be interacting with it. And once the user will interact with it, so what will happen? If you see the link that you see here, uh, If you see here in detail, we are having the card layout, right? Along with the card layout, we are having a link field. Inside the link field, we are having any type. It can be of any type of link. It can be a start process link. You can start a process. Alongside that, it can be an asynchronous process. Uh, Sorry, it can be a synchronous process. A bank start process link. So if I put A bank start process link, you do A bank start process, it is asynchronous. If you do A bank start process link, it is it defines a link to start process. So it will take away the flow. So it is synchronous basically. Next, we are having dynamic link because link property is just for cards, right? You can put a dynamic link, start process link, safe link, anything. What we have done, we have used a dynamic link, and using that dynamic link, what we are doing, we are just using the save into property, and we are saving fpbank item dot name to local bank selected card. So means whatever the card that user will interact, the name of that card will be saved into local bank selected card. That's it. And below that, what do we have? Local bank selected card. Next step would appear here. Then what do we have? Yeah. So if the selected card is null, then only it will be visible. The moment the selected card is not null, that means you have selected something in the card, then the whole code will be hidden, the card code. Okay. Then this will be visible. And here you can see the opposite conditions are there. Not is null, local bank selected card. Means when the selected card is not null, then this code will be visible. That next step would appear here, and we will be having a dynamic link to go back. The dynamic link to go back is quite simple. You just have to nullify local bank selected card. So if you pass null and save it into local bank selected card, so we are actually nullifying the local bank selected card. So the moment you nullify the local bank selected card, what will happen? This will be back to normal because the condition is show these cards only when the local bank selected card is null. Let's try the pattern. I select house. I'll get the cards hidden, and you can see house next steps would appear here. Click on go back. The moment I click on go back, what will happen? Null will be saved to local bank selected. You can see null is saved. The moment I click here, the condo is being saved in no, as a selected card variable. I click go back, then it is null select. So depending upon your scenario, you can dynamically render your code. It's not necessary that you keep this pattern in a single interface. You can create multiple interfaces depending upon your scenario of implementation. So let's suppose you clicked on house. So what will be the value here dynamically? You can put up, you can use choose function, you can use RIs, you can use local variables as and pass them in the RIs to manage the context of the main screen. And this is how you can implement the actual interface pattern. This pattern name is card as buttons because the card layout where the actual choices are visible, they are acting as a button, right? So you can study the standard Appian icons which you want to populate, right? And populate them. And it's not necessary that you can put up icons only from standard Appian icons. You can you can actually parse the images from web and bring their URL in the map, and you can loop the list and render the uh, you know URL of the image from the list of map. So it depends on the scenario. I've shown you how to easily understand and break the parts of the pattern and like adopt it according to your own implementation. If you really like my video, drop a like, subscribe to this channel, and happy learning.